Coming up, a dramatic finish at Yankee Stadium, and the White Sox continue their hot streak. This is Locked On Game to Game, MLB.
Every game, every team, every angle. Locked On Game to Game, your team every day.
Welcome in. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. Local experts join us to go over the action for you from yesterday across Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. The Cubs snapped the Mets' 5-game winning streak on Tuesday night with 3 home runs at Wrigley Field. Locked On Cubs recaps Chicago's win.
Very nice win for the Cubs today in a crucial homestand that they have coming up. They beat the Mets 7-2. Drew Smyly continues to be one of the unsung heroes for this Cubs team. Pitches a good game. Jeremiah Estrada came in with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 6th inning, and Pete Alonso at the plate and really did a nice job limiting the damage. Dare I say it was a nice job by the Cubs bullpen. Seiya Suzuki hit a home run, Matt Mervis hit a home run, and Christopher Morel hit his 9th home run in his 12th game of the season this year. His first 12 games, he has hit 19 home runs. He had 11 home runs in the minor leagues. He has 20 now. 20 home runs total at the professional level for the season. A crazy run and a nice night for the Cubs.
Mike Trout and a pair of other Angels homered as LA shut out the Red Sox in Anaheim yesterday. Locked On local experts fill you in on the easy win for the Angels.
The Angels win their 2nd straight series against a team 500 or better, and the series isn't even over yet. Hey everybody, it's Mike Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels. The Halos win on Tuesday night 4-0 against the Red Sox in Anaheim, and they had an incredible pitching performance from Griffin Canning. He went 7 innings, gave up just 2 hits, looked fantastic, and then the bullpen came in and shut it down, and they were helped out offensively from Mickey Moniak, who had a leadoff home run, his 3rd leadoff home run this season. Matt Thaiss hit a home run, and then Mike Trout hit a 2-run home run. Add-on runs, baby, late in the game. And the Angels, hey, they're wicked good, and we're really excited about what's happening in Anaheim. What's different about this team? John and I are going to talk about that on Locked On Angels. We hope you'll join us.
The White Sox beat the Guardians last night. That was their 6th win in their last 8 games. Chicago is right back in the hunt for a wide-open AL Central right now. Our Locked On hosts with both teams go over that divisional matchup.
The Chicago White Sox beat the Cleveland Guardians on Tuesday 4-2. Hey, I'm Nick Morawski from Locked On White Sox. The White Sox were able to bounce back from their lifeless effort on Monday. Sox were able to get back in the home run column. Yasmani Grandal went deep. Romy Gonzalez had a 2-run double. Solid outing from Dylan Cease in 3 lockdown innings from the bullpen. Sox are now 20-30 on the season as they're trying to hang tough in a very weak AL Central division. Sox go for the series win on Wednesday afternoon with Michael Kopech on the mound. For more, check out the Locked On White Sox podcast.
Guardians did not sacrifice enough birds, apparently, to win 2 in a row against the White Sox. I'm Justin Laticos of Locked On Guardians. Good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. The Guardians on Tuesday found lots of ways to lose. They had offensive chances. They didn't come through. They played bad defense. They made base running mistakes. The starting pitching was pretty good. Logan Allen was good. You could argue he should have been taken out a little bit sooner, although he didn't have a very high pitch count. But, that's kind of a Monday morning quarterback type situation. But either way, they didn't score enough runs. The defense was bad. The base running was bad. The bullpen finally was really good behind Logan Allen when he came out. But, again, this is a team that's just finding ways to lose. They are not playing well on all facets of the game at any one given night. But stick with Locked On Guardians. We'll have it all covered for you.
Coming up, the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies late. This is Locked On Game to Game, MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Game to Game is brought to you by RocketMoney, formerly known as Truebill. This app shows all of your subscriptions in one place and cancels what you don't want for you. Cancel unnecessary subscriptions with RocketMoney today. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Welcome back. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Nathan Eovaldi threw a complete game for the Rangers yesterday, holding the Pirates to just one run in the Texas victory. Locked On Pirates tells us how Eovaldi kept the Pittsburgh bats quiet.
The Pittsburgh Pirates lose to the Texas Rangers 6-1 in Game 2 of a 3-game series against one of the AL's best. And it was a game that just felt like it was bound to happen with this Texas Rangers team. It was an offense that started early. Rich Hill was called for a balk, a very questionable one at that, in the first inning, but the Rangers pounced for 2 runs in the first inning and never looked back. Of course, the Pirates get one back in the third inning from a Brian Reynolds double, but no offense other than that, as the Texas Rangers would add more in the later innings and win Game 2 of the series against the Pittsburgh Pirates 6-1. We'll get the rubber match tomorrow between Pittsburgh and Texas. Can the Pirates finally get a series victory in the month of May? We will see in the afternoon tomorrow. My name is Ethan Smith, your host of the Locked On Pirates podcast, and I will see you on the flip side.
What's the best way to help a struggling bullpen? Just throw a complete game. Nathan Eovaldi helps the Rangers solve their biggest problem with the bullpen by throwing 9 innings of 1-run balls. The Rangers beat the Pirates 6-1. I'm Bryce Patrick, host of the Locked On Rangers podcast. This was a very complete game from the Rangers and a complete game for Nathan Eovaldi. A multi-hit game for Josh Young, who is homered in 3 straight games, his 11th home run of the season, a massive solo shot. He also had another hit, a 2 RBI single, driving in some runs when the game was still in the balance. The Rangers took a 2-run lead in the top of the first inning, and that was all they would need throughout this one. A big triple for the leadoff man, Marcus Semien, who just stays red hot at the plate, and a misplay by the Pirates outfield. I mean, Rich Hill was solid in this one, but Nathan Eovaldi, complete game, 1-run ball, was just that much better.
Corbin Carroll broke a tie in the 8th inning to give the Diamondbacks a win over the Phillies on Tuesday. Locked On Phillies looks at the late defeat for Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia Phillies lose again. Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. I don't even know what to say about this team at this point. Trey Turner can't figure it out. The pitching, I mean, it's not awful, or at least it wasn't awful tonight. Dylan Covey wasn't bad. Matt Strahm wasn't bad, but it wasn't enough to get the win. The offense non-existent against the pitcher you probably could have gotten after. This team they don't have any clutch hitting. And when they do have clutch hitting, they immediately give the lead or the tie right back up. I mean, they can't have a good inning without giving one back up. They can't have a big moment without a reliever immediately coming in and giving up a run to ruin it. I don't understand it. This team can't put together a baseball game right now. They're painful to root for, and I guess we just got to wait for them to pull out of it. We'll talk about it more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Paul Goldschmidt helped the Cardinals jump out to an early lead with home runs in each of his first 2 at-bats against the Reds on Tuesday. After St. Louis won in Cincinnati, Locked On Cardinals and Reds have more.
Paul Goldschmidt smashes 2 home runs, and Adam Wainwright continues to climb towards a major milestone. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals, and it appears that the power slump for Paul Goldschmidt has come to an end after the reigning NL MVP hit not 1, but 2 dingers on the night, his 8th and 9th of the season. Goldie hadn't sent one over the wall since May 7th when he hit 3 against Detroit. Nolan Arenado and manager Ali Marmol both ejected in the 3rd inning after Arenado had words with home plate umpire Will Little, which was great since we all pay to see him call balls and strikes. Moving on, where was Adam Wainwright? Back at Great American Ballpark, or as Wayne likes to call it, the Devil's Lair, where he hasn't had much success at all over the years. But on Tuesday night, he pitches just well enough to pick up career win number 197 as the Cards take this one 8-5 and even up the 4-game series at 1 game apiece. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
Not the start you wanted to see from Graham Ashcraft on Tuesday. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast, and Graham Ashcraft was obliterated by the Cardinals lineup on Tuesday night. There was lots and lots of hard contact, wasn't really fooling anybody. Paul Goldschmidt had a couple of dingers on him. Just a really tough day at the office for Graham Ashcraft. May have been, without looking, not necessarily sure, but may have been the worst start of his career, and that follows up what was a very poor start against the Rockies in Coors Field last week. So now we got to see how Graham Ashcraft picks up the pieces here as his next start is against the Chicago Cubs. Meanwhile, Matt McLain does hit his first career home run, and the Reds lineup tried its best to get this team back in the ballgame. Had a shot in the bottom of the ninth inning with the bases loaded and Jonathan India at the plate to get the win. But, I mean, giving up 8 runs, it's hard to expect.
Coming up, the Yankees stage a comeback in the 9th and beat the Orioles in the 10th. This is Locked On Game to Game, MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Game to Game is brought to you by Birddogs. They are all about comfort, versatility, and of course fashion. You can wear them on a date, you can wear them to the golf course. You are always going to be comfortable in them, but also look great at the same time. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB where you can enter the promo code LockedOnMLB. They'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. Welcome back. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. The Yankees got a thrilling win on Tuesday. Aaron Judge tied the game in the 9th inning before Anthony Volpe won it for New York in the 10th. Locked On Yankees host is, of course, very happy after New York stole a win at the last second.
This is Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees, and the Yankees beat the Orioles in 10 innings, 6-5. Garrett Cole hits a milestone. Aaron Judge hits a game-tying home run. Anthony Volpe hits a game-winning sac fly in the bottom of the 10th. The game had it all, including Garrett Cole giving up 2 more home runs. After not giving up any in the month of April, Garrett Cole is having a rough month of May, but there was a positive in his outing. He hit a big milestone, 2,000 career strikeouts. So good for Garrett Cole, but he needs to right the ship because this was a rough one for him. He only lasted 5 innings. Now, the Yankees found themselves down 4-0 at one point and 5-4 going into the bottom of the 9th, which set up Judge's home run to tie it and send it into extras. And then Anthony Volpe hits a sac fly. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa scores on the sac fly, and the Yankees win a big game against the Baltimore Orioles, who are ahead of them in the standings. So we have everything you need to know about this game and more on the next Locked On Yankees. So please tune in.
Juan Soto homered as part of a 3-hit night against his former team, and the Padres beat the Nationals in the process. Locked On Padres looks at San Diego's win in the nation's capital.
All right, not too shabby. What's going on, everybody? Javier Reyes of Locked On Padres podcast. Padres win 7-4 in this one with big hits from Jake Cronenworth and, of course, Juan Soto, who has been literally among some of the best players in the National League for the past, 3 weeks or so. He's been awesome. He's hitting the crap out of the ball. That's not my issue with him. My issue is separate than that. Everyone go listen to the podcast. That's a separate situation. I never thought he would be a bad player, and he's been great. And he's been really carrying this team in a lot of ways, especially hitting some bombs off of Mackenzie Gore. C.J. Abrams also gets a home run in this game against his former team, obviously, in the Padres. So just kind of a cool game in a lot of ways. Kind of fun just seeing all these guys kind of go together, these big names that we're familiar with, both Padres of old and Padres of new. So really cool stuff there. Hopefully, as I predicted, that they would win 2 out of 3 games in the series. Hopefully they can continue the momentum and just hit for once. Do something like this just a little bit. Please make us happy, San Diego. We'd appreciate it. And until that next time, though, guys, stay faithful.
The Brewers used 5 different pitchers to shut out the Astros last night. Locked On Astros goes over the Houston loss.
The Astros beat the Brewers once again. Oh, wait, that was last night. So they scored double-digit runs the game before, and what do tonight? They lay a goose egg. But J.P. France had a bounce-back start, 8 strikeouts, a career high for the rookie. Looked really good on the mound. The game didn't go south until Rafael Montero, moneybags himself, gave up 4 of the 6 runs. The Brewers had 6 runs on 9 hits. Yeah, nice number, right? Well, not for the Astros. The Astros fall to 2 games behind the Rangers in the AL West as they beat the Pirates. The Pirates couldn't complete the job. But we talk about this in a fun way on Locked On Astros. Remember, we're your team every day. Myself and Eric break it down. Go check it out. If you want to be entertained, how can you not be entertained anytime the Astros play? Locked On Astros, we're your team every day. Become an everyday or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, we're your team every day.
The Giants scored 4 unanswered runs on the road to come back and beat the Twins on Tuesday. Locked On Giants has more after San Francisco's win.
A comeback win for the San Francisco Giants in a game that was started by a guy who's probably the Cy Young frontrunner in the American League. Ben Kaspick with the Locked On Giants podcast here. Yes, the Giants fell behind Sonny Gray and the Twins 3-0, but they made Gray work. They got his pitch count up. They got him out of the game, and they scored a couple of his runs. And then in the next inning, leadoff double by Tyro Estrada, and then Michael Conforto with another opposite field home run. He hit one yesterday, and he is just on an absolute tear right now after being ice cold at the plate. And then Scott Alexander and Camilo Doval made it stand 7 strong for Alex Cobb despite giving up a couple homers. Giants are back at 500. They were well below 500 6 or 7 games not long ago, so they're playing good baseball right now. Back at 500 for the first time since they were 3-3. So we'll break it down tomorrow on Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
That's a wrap for this edition of Locked On Game to Game MLB. We thank you again for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. Make sure that you are subscribed to Locked On MLB and your favorite team's Locked On podcast on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts from. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Game to Game.